They've gotten themselves thrown out of just about every tavern, restaurant, and nightclub in the west end of the city, and been invited back to just about all of the places they were tossed out of after management learned that while the girls were frequently disruptive, they were invariably entertaining and good for business.
I remember at times I used to say to George late at night or early in the morning, at probably like noon the next day, I'd say, George, are we going to make it? I mean, do you really think that this is going to work? And she'd say, of course it is. And I'd say, but how? What is a producer? What is it? What are the elements? What are the components needed to take this act and get it out there? And she didn't really know, and she'd just say, it's going to happen. We're going to meet the right people. It's going to happen.
Oh, yes. I've been waiting for fan mail now for about 5 years.
You've been sitting there a lot.
I haven't gotten one letter yet, but I know it's coming. I know it's just around the corner. I sell 8x10 glossies for $1.50. They're real cute. I should have brought one along.
People used to take pictures of us all the time in Nashville. All the time. Everyone was taking pictures because we were freaks and we were cute. That picture taken of Christopherson, Joan Baez, and me and Star, and Joan Sears came by, and she says, starts going, oh, hi, Chris, because they were always over there taking pictures in front of Quadraphonic. And Joan goes, oh, who are they? You know, I said, weirdos in Nashville. And he says, oh, that's George and Star. He says, bring them over. So he calls us over, and that's how the pictures were taken.
George and Star, you can tell by that picture, they're pretty remarkable people to take for granted just in your background. It seemed like they were all out of a Kerouac novel or something. Well, I mean, you wear a sword around and you're going to get a second look.
And somebody said, hey, George. I knew he had a camera. So I just pulled up it was a dress that came down to my feet. It was a velvet dress that came down to my feet. I pulled it up and pulled the panties back so you could just see that one cheek and see the tattoo. And I did my best Mick Jagger impression. And that was how that thing got taken. And then a couple weeks later, I walked in the exit in, and here's this big picture, this big, on the end of the bar, which was that picture. I go, oh my God. So then I made posters out of this 1,000 posters. Everyone's got one. Chris has got one. Chrissy Hine, the pretender's got one. Everyone's got one. I sold the posters, but I sold them for $1 a piece, so I broke even on them. I had T-shirts too with that picture on it. They were sold for about $5, which broke about even.
They will put on their act anywhere they can find a stage or a place to plug in George's electric guitar. Star, who usually plays kazoo, passes around the tambourine. I'll accept money, traveler's checks, money orders, and precious gems, she tells her audiences. Even those who don't particularly like the singing are likely to reward the girls for the effrontery they have exhibited in creating an atmosphere of sheer bedlam.
She would tell me to do things. She'd say, go in that room, Star, and jump on the table. She had like a litany of instruction for me. And I'd look at her like, you don't really, no, I don't want to just do it. And I trusted George's instinct. And whenever she told me to do something, it worked.
Star was wearing something fluffy, gauzy, and short, and a customer offered her $1 to do a handstand. Star accepted. But to the customer's dismay, she had her little dress pinned at the crotch. So he offered her another $1 to take the pin out, but Joe stopped it right there. Star kept the $2.
There was a thing that we'd do anything for money, so Star would, I'd jump in the pool in the middle of the night. Or at Pancake Man, they'd send her up to somebody's room where somebody was fucking somebody else's wife or something and have her knock at the door and sing. It was just, we were the town clowns, and art seemed more important than money, and money didn't seem to matter at all. It seemed like you could survive on whatever and do art and be art, and that was more important.
Oh, you guys are so much fun. Oh, I love show business.
Some people didn't get Star, I did. I thought she was funny. She made me laugh. She'd go on and on, make up stories, and she was actually better in the restaurant at like the Pancake Man than she was on stage. because in the Pancake Man, she would just go on and on. She'd sit there and put on makeup for hours and hours and hours, just put it on and talk. And everybody in the place would just gather around and listen to her. And she'd make up stories and stories and stories and stories, and everyone would just be fascinated by her.
I am very multi-talented. Anything you want, I can do it.
I'm multi-dexterous.
I've done everything in my lifetime. I've been a mistress. I've been a milkman. I've pumped gas. I've done everything there is to do. I'm a university scholar. My IQ is so high, it's frightening. Everybody just loves us here. We're heroes, you know. We're the greatest thing in the world has ever seen. We're going to be bigger than the Beatles because we've got more to offer.
What about the Beatles?
Bigger than the Beatles? They had everybody believing they believed it.
They acted like they'd already made it. That was the unique thing about it. They acted like they were the biggest stars in the world, and you had to treat them like that. And we did.
I think they were just having fun, a lot of it. I mean, it's like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure or something. They were just, I don't think they were necessarily looking for the big payoff. They were just giving it a shot,
I first saw her in a club, Red Dog Saloon, right? You're aware of that. And Red Dog Saloon took the people who were far left. They got their start there, and that was their kind of forum. And there were a few just outrageous groups. I mean, there was no boundaries at all. I mean, probably the stuff that was going on in that club would have freaked the people in San Francisco out, And then I first saw her there, and they were on stage. It was more performance art type of thing,
Before New York had street performance artists, Nashville had George and the Arizona Star.
There was nobody bigger than George and Star in Nashville while they were here, the entire time they were here. There was no greater news. There was nothing more creative or interesting than what they were doing, being themselves. They are their own art.
They were always George and the Arizona Star. They were always in character. You'd never see them sitting in a corner in a diner somewhere being bummed out. Their lights were always on bright.